Preet Kaur Gill.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Climate change is damaging the lives of people in the UK and abroad, and we see the impact through the two recent cyclones which have struck Mozambique. A country which usually only expects one major storm every 10 years has had two in 2 months, with the latest cyclone Kenneth the strongest cyclone to ever hit Africa. In the UK, climate change is seen as directly responsible for the projected rise in heat-related deaths and flooding, with the poorest and most vulnerable most likely to bear the brunt. It is a tragedy that those least responsible for climate change suffer the most, and we need to act to prevent a global climate disaster, yet this government is not doing enough. On emissions, the government like to smugly talk about what a good job they have done, but the Committee on Climate Change warned last year that the UK will not meet the emission reduction targets laid out in the UK's Clean Growth Strategy for the 4th and 5th 5-year carbon budgets. On biodiversity too, the government are falling short with only 5 of the 19 targets in the strategic plan for biodiversity set to be achieved. And the government's commitment to fighting climate change is also enshrined in the Sustainable Development Goals. Yet according to UK SSD, we are underperforming on 72% of the targets that are relevant to the UK, many of which are relevant to climate change. Take target 11.6, about reducing the adverse per capita environmental impact of cities, including air pollution. UK 100 found that 17.9 million NHS patients in England are registered at a GP practice in an area that exceeds the WHO annual limit for PM 2.5 air pollution. The national government clearly don't care enough about climate change, but thankfully some of our local elected officials do. Bristol and Liverpool have pledged support for the Sustainable Development Goals. Birmingham approved a motion on the Sustainable Development Goals in November last year, and 59 councils, more than a third Labour-run, have declared a climate emergency. And whilst these are great initiatives, our local government needs more support from central government. They need resources to invest in better, greener infrastructure, to encourage and support more people to cycle and walk safely, and to promote renewables.
I thank my honourable friend for making an excellent speech and raising the issue of what cities and governments around the UK are doing. Would you also join me in congratulating the Welsh Government for declaring a climate emergency, and cities like Cardiff, my own, that are doing so much work on sustainable transport, led by Councillor Hugh Thomas.
I'm delighted to congratulate the Welsh Government on doing that, and I thank my honourable friend for his intervention. Onshore wind, Britain's cheapest form of energy, has been blocked by this government, and according to CERA, the reintroduction of onshore wind would cut another 1.6 billion off the collective electricity bill. And rather than act, the government has chosen to block onshore wind. Sir David Attenborough has said climate change is humanity's greatest threat in thousands of years, but this government keeps signing up to things that it fails to deliver. I call on all benches to back Labour's motion and take the necessary action to address this threat nationally and internationally, to protect the planet and the climate for all future generations. Thank you.